You never know. I could start doing videos again and succeed, and boom, have another 10 years of my career.
You got me. Say my name.
Breaking bacon.
You're goddamn right.
Hostiles launched an SAE.
Damn.
UAV active.
Dude, the long shots are weird, dude. Dude, that was an MP5. Let's see this. How? Why would you even be looking down this way? Alright. Let's just do this. Alright, boys, we'll do just chatting for. Oh, I might need the microphone for that. Alright, let's ask some questions. What COD has the best duration S&D when considered maps, weapons, equipped, kill streaks, etc.? World at War. I felt like the World at War snipers were the best. I felt like the rifles were useful. I felt like the maps were the... everything about that game was great, map-wise. Warzone streams don't hit 100 viewers. I feel like you the man. Well, Milo, thank you for the 5, dude. We could do an Elden Ring stream. I just don't know like what people want to see from Elden Ring. There's so many people that have beaten Elden Ring every which way but loose. There's really nothing I can bring back to the table with Elden Ring. I'm not one of those Souls players that plays the game like, I'm going to beat the game with like a whip, but it's only in my offhand and I don't have the stats for it. In my primary hand, I'm going to use a ladle. You know, it's like, not for me. Not for me. No, like that guy I played with the other night was up there. Madman's one of the best. Scumpy's really good. Diesel's pretty good. Who else was there? Stainville was pretty good. What's my favorite movie of all time? Alien. Ridley Scott's Alien. FPS Butter Golem. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Like, something will come along. I might not even be alive in 5 years. Right? You don't know. Right? If you'd have told 23-year-old Jordy that he'd be playing video games at the same time next year when he's 24 and be making money off of it, I would have laughed in your face because I thought I was going to die at Met Glass. Retire and, you know, whatever, get the golden watch, whatever they want to give. Hey, the A-player, thank you for the $5. I like the spicy chicken tenders. I like my chicken tenders spicy. I like the buffalo sauce with it. It's like a double up on the spice, but it's good. You also can try the sweet heat. I don't like any kind of ranch. I mean, like, I don't like hate ranch, but it's never something I go to. It's something I settle for. Anybody can, A-player. Anytime you get in a car, you have I think automobile wrecks is like one of the highest chances to die in the world, right? Right next to being fat like me. FPS Butter Golem. Well, why are you worried about my work so much? You never know. I could start doing videos again and succeed, and boom, have another 10 years of my career. But you don't see that. But you don't know what has in store. Look at it this way, FPS Butter Golem. I think, let me look this up. Let me only get this fact straight. Morgan Freeman was 43 years old before he did his first film, which was Driving Miss Daisy. I ain't even 43 yet. He had a whole nother job and career before he started acting. No, I'm not doing the Pocky one chip challenge ever again. No. You guys out here act like I'm just dropping money. Just dropping money. No, I couldn't live off SSI. Like, Social Security is like $1,200, and that's if you paid in it most of your life. Like, I couldn't even start to live off $1,200, to be honest. Thank you, Milo. Thank you for the 15. And it's like, dude, it's money that you can't count on. Like, disability is $800. It's even less than like Social Security. That money is like if you completely give up on life. That's what that kind of money is. Like, you can't live as a functioning adult by yourself with like $800 or $1,200 a month. I mean, like, there's some rent now that costs more than that. Just the rent, no lights. That's just a place to keep you out of the rain, right? No TV, no car to go anywhere, no entertainment. Yeah, on my house. But like, my house my house is a modular home, right? So like it's not made with the highest quality materials, and it's starting to show its age, right? So like we're starting to have to put money into it. I just put $7,000 into an AC unit. I put, I need to redo the subfloor of my kitchen. I got a soft spot in my bathroom in here. I got a roof that's 23 years old on the house. That's going to need to be changed in the next 2 or 3 years. That's going to cost $5,000. I got a hot water heater that it needs to be purged. I got bath liners that are 20 years old that are eventually going to have to be either redone or changed out completely. No, I'm never going to make it to retirement. That's not even in my realm of thinking. Most men in my family get cancer. My dad was the exception, but every other man in my family has gotten cancer on my father's side. Like his brother died at 62. My granddaddy died at like 65. His granddaddy died around 65. Like it's just what it is. We get cancer. FPS Butter Golem, any of my personal life that I do is to me. I'm not going to tell anybody about any side hustles I do again because I lost a good one with DoorDash. And I've invested money before, and every time I've invested, I've lost money. So I'm kind of torn now, especially since I'm living off the lowest income I've ever lived off of. Like before I even did YouTube, I made like 60 to 80,000 a year. And then during YouTube, my years were prosperous, and then since then it's been slowly going down. Me trying to diversify my assets when I was making big YouTube money, and none of it worked out.
You're making big YouTube money?
No, back in the day I did.
Should do.
Like, okay.
It would be great if you made like cooking streams. I would watch that. Literally all that.
What's big YouTube money?
Like my biggest year was like 120.
Yeah, but when your first check like 80?
Yeah, my first was 80. Because they don't want me to quit streaming. What they want me to do is be miserable. That's the point. I mean, if that's the case, they've almost paid the $10K back because Mario Luigi a couple of years ago donated like $5,000 in 1 month. February, like a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know Scump regularly. I've talked to him a few times. I've played with him a few times, but I can't say I'm a great friend with Scump. I mean, like, realistically, I love cars, baseball, video games, and food. That's my wheelhouse. I don't really have a dream car. I mean, like, the answer that usually pleases people is the 1970 Dodge Challenger with a 440. But, like, I wouldn't be happy with that car. I mean, it'd be nice to have and be able to look at it, be like, oh, look what I got. They don't really have power steering. The AC kind of sucks if they even have them. They're not very safe. The engine only lasts like 100,000 miles at best if you upkeep it, and I can't unban anybody. I'd love to try car sales, but I fear that if I ever get into car sales, people will just get me fired off of it. Honestly, the same way they do everything else. They'll just, if somebody notices me, they come back and tell the trolls, and then all of a sudden the trolls call the dealership I work at and be like, oh, you got this working for you, and then they send all those stupid clips, and every clip that's taken out of context, and it's ridiculous. I'd have to quit YouTube for at least a year before getting any kind of real work to feel safe. No, I'm not former law enforcement. I had a job at 911, but not very long. I pretty much just did the tutorial. No, I'm not starting an OnlyFans. I banned Dell the Gamer because he trolled a lot. I'd love to be in car sales, man. I really would. I know about the cars. I'm passionate. I'm good with the inventory. I can do cold calls. I'd never do that. Like, people think I'm a scummy ass fucking person. I'm not. I get mad at people in video games, especially Call of Duty or shooters. Like, you never really see me get mad at people in other type of games like Resident Evil or shit like that. I'm just competitive in shooters. That's my main crutch. I mean, there's tons of car review videos, and there's tons of people that have better connections than I do. Like, you want a really good car channel, Lucky Lopez, YAA. I mean, I wouldn't recommend Doug DeMiro, but like, he's popular. The problem with car review channels in general, they have to like find the difference between something that's very similar, like the ride between like a Ford Explorer and a Telluride. Like, the ride is very, very similar, so you got to be super nitpicky about it. And that, to me, that just comes off as whatever. Like, you're literally downing a car that's just as good as everything else. Justin, you know, there were people like you 2 years into YouTube telling me that you can't count on this to be there, and now I'm 15 years in. There's people that lived their whole life never working a job 15 years. Like I said, if I'm meant to do it, I'll do it. If it's not meant, I'll move on. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. You're not promised tomorrow. No, I got a fan on. The Raptor video I did? I never did a Raptor video. I had a 2012 F-150 Lariat that I did. But cars are stupid overpriced right now. Like, you know what the average price of an F-150 right now? Let me put it out there. In 2012, I bought a black F-150 Lariat, 4x4. Second year the EcoBoost came out, 3.5, and I paid $38,000 for it. That's what I paid for it out the door. That same truck right now goes for $66,000. It's they almost doubled in price in the span of a decade. It's crazy. I never took Sean Ranklin out. Again, like I've shown multiple times that I don't like. It's not very good right now because like most of these channels like shut down. But like right here, this is every removal request I've done. Last one I did was a November 27, 2021. Keep in mind it's 2023 now. So it's then there's this one. This was when I did it, the podcast Hello Dear God. This was Wings 007. He removed the video. Removed. Inactive. That's everything I've ever done. I struck Lummox's channel. It's everything I've ever struck. Like, it goes back to 2014. That's almost a decade right there of every strike I've ever put on a channel. I have nothing to do with striking troll channels. I struck Lummox's channel. So I've got nothing to do with taking Discords down. Nothing to do with Reddits. Yeah, I'm still married. Yo, what's up, Kung Fu Kenny? Dude, I'm just a fat man that wants to be left alone. Honestly, I've never broke the law in my life. I'm a straight shooter. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't hit or harm my wife in any way. I don't abuse animals. I've got $3,000 tied up into Bongo. Which speaking of Bongo, let's go back to the main scene here. For those of you who didn't really catch it. Here's Bongo. Bongo no longer has heartworms. Bailey's sleeping with her mama. Is that a scratch? Where? Oh, right here on his face? No, that's his face like folds. Like you can see like how he has a lot of loose skin. This is how his skin's folded. He's a mixture between like a Rottweiler and a German Shepherd. I don't know if you could tell, but this harness is maxed out. We got to get him a new harness here soon. Because he's 108.3 pounds.
Hostile care package in the area.
Bongo doesn't like to come in here. Like, but every time we bring Bongo in the house, he either goes straight to the laundry room because he knows he goes there, or he'll just go to the living room and stand in front of the TV. That's just what he does. I don't even know who's eligible to go to the Super Bowl, man. I don't watch football. it's a cult of personality, man. Like if you make 6 years worth of videos, like only showing the worst moments of my career over the span of 15 years, it makes you look like a bad person. Anybody can be made look like a bad person if you wanted to. Like, you could take Kyle and go back through all the PKAs and just put only the bad shit right next to each other, and he'd have the same thing I'm having. Hey, Bailey, come here, baby. Wake up, girl. My favorite baseball clip on YouTube. It's I can't show that, but like, it's Soler hitting a home run against the Astros in the 2021 World Series. Very little. PKA's part of my life is done. Like most of my problems in life right now stem from PKA. Would I want to have a conversation with them? Sure. Like, for a large portion of my youth, Woody, Kyle, Lefty were all there every day of my life. You know, that part of my life's past. It's been almost 10 years since I've been on PKA. Like, not been on PKA, but since I got kicked off PKA. I got kicked off in February 2014. It's currently January 2023. So it's been almost 10 years since I was on PKA. How do you get the dogs to get along with the cat? Well, this cat is the sweetest thing ever. Milo, there's nothing to say they showed their true colors by taking advantage of you. I don't want to speak on it, honestly, because it always backfires. But I wish nothing but success to them. And I hope Woody gets over his cancer, and he should have it removed, and always wear sunblock. But this cat, this is Dr. Gray. He's named Dr. Grayson because, like, he's the one that goes to the vet the most. It's a race between him and Bongo. Because when we first got him, he was on the chopping block to be put to sleep, euthanized, because nobody wanted him because he was so sick. Go back to bed. Go back to bed. And then, so we took him. We got him on his pain medicine. We cleaned his ears up. And we got him neutered. And we loved him. But it took a good bit of money. And then he got blocked. And that block I just finished paying for. It cost $2,000 to get him fixed from blocked. I don't think they've changed at all. I think you just gotten older. Honestly, like, I look back at myself on PK and cringe, and like, I would always talk about shit I knew very little about, and would just cursory Google searches and shit like that. And like, people want me to go back on PK, but I'm not that person anymore. I'm not the Geordie from PKA. You gonna max out a credit card? Did that credit card look like this? Old Care Credit, because that's what I did. But this is my bedtime buddy. We have a little routine. Every time I go lay down to go to bed, Dr. Gray comes and makes me some biscuits, and he sleeps on the side of my stomach. But this is the avatar of sweetness. I don't think Grayson has it in him to hurt anybody. Well, mine aren't. Like, Rocco's old. Like, Rocco is 11 years old now, and Grayson is 4. How has been married changed me? Not much, honestly. Like, I got less money, and like, I feel bad more. Like, because I can kind of see some of my traits rubbing off on Kelly. One thing I never wanted to do with Kelly was change who she was as a person. And like, I'm very, very frugal. And like, Kelly is not frugal. Kelly has no concept of like saving money or nothing. But like, she's the kind of person that will spend every dime she has to make somebody happy. And I loved that about her. That she wanted to see the beauty and good in the world. Whereas I'm a very cynical person. To me, my motto is, if you expect the worst, you're never going to get surprised. And we're complete opposites on that barometer. But like, I've slowly watched her start expecting the worst and like taking mannerisms from me. And like, I don't know, that kind of bothers me. I'd probably have a Raptor if I wasn't married too. Because my credit's good now. But nah, I got so much other money I got to put into shit. I don't eat fish, so I have no clue what the ocean fish market is good or not. I've seen the first episode and I wasn't impressed. I also feel like the guy playing Joel, I don't know the actor's name off the top of my head, his beard game's weak. Hey, badgirl.exe, thank you for being a hoodlum, dude. I don't like the new Tundra. Milo might can chime in on this. Milo, by the way, thank you for the $25, dude. I think the new Tundra looks like the old F-150. It's got a 3.5 liter twin turbo. F-150 has a 3.5 liter twin turbo. It's got the mustache grill. Old F-150 has the mustache grill. Like, it has the body lines of like a K2 Chevy. I mean, like, it just copies Ford. Like, Toyota just copies Ford and Chevy. But like, the auto market itself right now is about to be put on its head, right? Let's do a little bit of breakdown here. All right. Generally, a car payment needs to be 10% of your monthly income, right? So if you make $1,000 a month, the most the car payment should be is $100. And the reason you do it this way is because there's more cost to the car than just your car payment, right? You have a car payment, you have insurance, you have gas, you have oil, you have maintenance. There's 5 categories that goes into owning a car. So the problem that we're running into now is that people are so above their head with how much car they have that they're drowning, right? Like, take for example, remember I talked about F-150s almost doubled in price. An F-150 right now costs you $66,400 on average. So the average purchase of an F-150 is $66,400. Like, to do the math, you need to make $168,000 a year, or something along the lines of about 14 grand a month to afford an F-150 comfortably. And the people that have that don't make that, because the mean income in America is $71,000 per household. So based on like how rich people are and how poor people are, $71,000 a household is what the mean income of America is, right? So like, but they're selling F-150s. They sold 75,000 of them motherfuckers last month or some shit like that. So people are buying them at $66,000. And like, what is going to happen is 2 things. Either cars are going to become a product of the wealthy, almost like dress clothes, and handed down after they're used up, which is kind of already something that happens now. Or what I think is going to happen is you're going to have an influx of Chinese cars coming into the American market. Kind of like the 80s. For example, like in the early 80s, Toyota, Mazda, they were called Datsun at the time, but Nissan, all came in and they made affordable, cheap cars that lasted, right? So, and I think that's going to be the next thing, because like right now, there's been companies that came in and made cars that were affordable that nobody fucking wanted. Like Mitsubishi has the Mirage. You can get like a Mirage for like 12 grand brand new. And but nobody wanted those shits. Nobody buys a Mirage because people will stretch a loan out 8, 9, 10 years, 108 months to afford that $66,000 F-150 and be underwater in it for most of the time, and most of the time you're paying interest to the bank because they don't want to settle for less. But eventually, the way inflation is going, like eggs are like $10 a carton or some shit like that right now. You're going to see there's going to be a huge gap divide where people are going to have to settle, and you have places like General Motors, Ford, Honda, Nissan, all the companies now. Toyota's not doing it. They don't really offer like a mid-range affordable option. There is no really affordable like Toyota Camry anymore. Like a Toyota Camry starts at like $26,000. That's still fucking expensive for a lot of people, right? How many people in chat right now can go out and buy a $26,000 car and not feel the fucking pressure, right? Because $26,000 usually adds up to about a $450 car payment for 6 years. And that's not factoring in the $100 or $200 of insurance. So like that $450 all with insurance becomes $650. Then how many tanks of gas? You're going to go through at least 1 tank of gas a week. So there's another $160. So now you're putting $800 a month into your car, and you're spending $9,000 a year just to drive, not counting car insurance. Car taxes or registration, right? Or any kind of maintenance or oil change that goes with that. So you could easily have 10 grand into like a $26,000 car. Well, it's again like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9, whatever. However you finance, you should have a down payment. First off, if you can't put a down payment on a car, you're not ready to buy a car. That's the rule of thumb here. But I feel like it's going to open up in a market where like you're going to have Chinese cars coming in, and they're going to fill that medium niche where you're going to have a lot of people driving Chinese cars here soon, like kind of like the Japanese cars came in the 80s. Electric cars are going to fail. I could explain it to you, and I'm sure more people than I know this, but a lot of people stand to make a lot of money and know this, and just they're going to get out before it fails. It's not even Elon Musk. I wouldn't even consider Tesla the king of the electric car right now. Tesla's just went down $14,000. That kind of lets you know how much profit margin was built into a Tesla. They can just cut $14,000 off the price of a new car overnight. Rivian's never gonna succeed. They don't have the funding to succeed. Rivian's gonna get sucked into a major corporation. What you're gonna see here soon is when electric cars tank, and these companies have put billions of dollars into these platforms. Now, if you cut back on deliveries based on what a Tesla semi can do, you're going to live in that world where things have a perpetual scarcity. It's perpetually scarce, right? In a capitalistic market where things are perpetually scarce, people wanting to pay the most pay for the item. That's where you get eggs that are $10 a carton, which I know that's had a little bit to do with avian flu, but we're using eggs as an example here, right? Because if eggs become $10 a carton, and people that want to pay $10 a carton get eggs, people that don't want to pay it don't get fucking eggs. So the idea is, as a society, we either need to concede to a energy that is less efficient than diesel, or we need to find a way to replace diesel with something that is on par or better efficient than diesel. And that's the issue with energy right now. Because diesel runs the world, not gasoline. The ships that bring the stuff over the seas and brings you strawberries from like Argentina run off diesel. The buses that take your kids to school run off diesel. The trucks that bring goods to the store run off diesel. The tractors that cultivate the food run off diesel. Diesel runs the world because it's got nothing to do with energy dependent or not, dude. It's got nothing to do. The fact is, it's a finite resource. Diesel is a byproduct of oil, which is a byproduct of gasoline. So diesel is already in a scarcity market. That's why it's usually more expensive than gasoline, because there's more steps to make diesel than it is gasoline, right? Again, like you're isolating the issue too much. Keep it simple, Stephen. The problem is we can't find an energy that is efficient as diesel currently is at creating torque, moving heavy loads, and ease of storage, right? For example, a Tesla truck promotes 500 miles of range. And I guarantee you that 500 miles of range is on flat roads that are perfectly paved without the heater on, right? Because as soon as you turn the heat pump on, that heat pump has to pull energy from somewhere. And heat sources require a lot of electricity to run, right? So like there's a myriad of things that can cause that 500 miles of range on the Tesla Semi to go down to like 300 or even 250. You see the problem here, right? I understand diesel ain't free, neither is electricity. You're basically all they're basically trying to do is take one charge card and put the balance on another charge card. Here's the oil charge card. They're going to put it on the coal charge card. But they don't want you to know this because they're going to be like, oh, we can put wind turbines up. And we can have little wheels in the river. And all this energy can be pushed into the grid. And we can give solar panels. Dog, if that shit fucking worked, we'd be having that shit running a long time ago. Solar panels been around fucking ever. Wind power turbines been around forever. They used water energy to churn flour back in the medieval fucking times. Will they make electricity? Yes, but they don't make it efficiently enough to use it. Like to like supercharge your car to go on a road trip. I think it's the equivalent of like 10 households energy for one day. Like if you go to like the mall and your Tesla's out of energy and you need to supercharge it, right? And you put that big thing in there, you're using 10 households worth of energy in the span of an hour. I mean, there's all kinds of arguments and it's super complex. Super complex, and I can't break it down to you on a stream at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But like, in the long run, I don't see electric cars working. And they're not going to work because, one, lithium's used in everything. Like, look at it right now. Like, we're currently in a hidden war. I'm using air quotations on hidden, between America and China over computer chips. Computer chips require neon to be made. Where does neon come from? Neon comes from Ukraine for the most part. Why do you think Russia wants Ukraine? Because they want to control a large portion of the world's neon. Right. Well, that's the reason like ethanol doesn't work, Crasco. Remember how ethanol was created? Which they put ethanol as a substitute in gas now, like 90-10 blends and 85-30. 85-15 or 70-30 blends. They do that because the United States government subsidizes corn farmers. Like they give farmers money to plant corn. So the farmers will plant corn they don't want or they can't sell, and so the government gets it and they create ethanol with it. But ethanol the problem with ethanol is it requires more energy to make a gallon of ethanol than a gallon of ethanol makes. Does that make sense? That's why ethanol won't work. Because if it takes 3 gallons of ethanol to make 1 gallon of ethanol, you're at a negative, right? Because it's not as energy dense as gasoline. Gasoline's just in the ground. You suck it up, boom. It makes tons of energy. I don't know. I'm sleepy. It's 4:30 in the morning. Thank you, Super Basis Hound, for the $120. Thank you, dude. Thank you, Milo, for the $25. Appreciate everybody for coming out. Sorry for my little TED talk. Y'all get me into the same talk all the time where like I go on a rant about electric cars. Like, I love cars. I do. I don't think we're gonna live the rest of my life on the internal combustion engine. But like the more you look into other things in the world, you see how good the internal combustion engine is. Like something that was created in the early 1900s is literally one of the pinnacles of human creation. Thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks everybody for chilling with your boy. I'll see you guys later. Peace, people.